Always news, always network, always power. CCNTV. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rundown. I'm your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for today, the 23rd of September of 2022. COVID raises risk of long-term brain injury. Large U.S. study finds. Also in international news, Russian draft prompts an exodus by some men as airfares jump. And lastly, the white woman who called 911 on the black bird watcher in Central Park loses her lawsuit against her former employer. A judge rejected Amy Cooper's claim that her former employer, Franklin Templeton, defamed her when they repeatedly said that they did not tolerate racism after her May 2020 incident. Let's get to the news. People who have had COVID-19 are at higher risk for a host of brain injuries a year later compared to the people who were never infected by the coronavirus, a finding that could affect millions of Americans. U.S. researchers reported on Thursday that the year-long study published by the Nature Medicine associated brain health across 44 disorders using medical records without patient identifiers from millions of U.S. veterans. Brain and other neurological disorders occurred in 7% more of those who had been infected with COVID compared with a similar group of veterans who had never been infected. That translates into roughly 6.6 million Americans who had brain impairments linked to their COVID infection. The results show a devastating long-term effect of COVID-19. They compare these records with 5.6 million patients who did not have COVID during the same time frame and another group of 5.8 million people from the period that just before coronavirus had arrived in the United States. Memory impairment, commonly referred to as brain fog, were some of the most common symptoms. Compared to the control groups, people infected with COVID had about 77% a higher risk of developing memory problems. People infected with the virus were 50% more likely to have a systemic stroke caused by a blood clot, compared with the never infected group. Those who had COVID were 80% more likely to have seizures, 43% more likely to have mental health issues such as anxiety or depression, 35% more likely to have headaches, and 42% more likely to suffer from movement disorders such as tremors, compared with the controlled group who never had COVID. Researchers also say that governments and health systems must devise plans for post-COVID world. Putin on Wednesday ordered Russia's first mobilization since World War II and backed a plan to annex parts of Ukraine, warning the West that he was not bluffing when he said he is ready to use nuclear weapons to defend Russia. In the biggest escalation of Ukraine's war since Moscow invasion in February 24th, Putin explicitly raised the specter of a nuclear conflict, approved a plan to annex a chunk of Ukraine the size of Hungary, and called up to 300,000 reservists. The defense minister of Russia said that Russia is ready to draft some 300,000 additional personnel out of the 25 million potential fighters at Moscow's disposal. The mobilization is the first since the Soviet Union battled the Nazi Germany in World War II, which began immediately. And a lot of these men are getting the hell out of Dodge because they don't want to fight in Putin's war.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. Remember the white woman who called 911 and falsely accused a black birdwatcher of threatening her in New York Central Park back in 2020? The incident that went viral. Well, this same woman recently lost a lawsuit against her former employer that she alleged illegally fired her, and after making her out to be a racist. The U.S. District Judge Ron Abrams on Wednesday rejected Amy Cooper's claim that her former employer, investment management company Franklin Templeton, defamed her, with repeatedly saying that the firm did not tolerate racism. The judge further went on to say that Amy Cooper had failed to prove that she was fired due to her race or gender, and without the kind of investigation that had once been conducted on allegations of another employee's misconduct. For those of you who don't remember, Amy Cooper lost her job after a video was shared on social media showing her calling 911 on a birdwatcher named Christian Cooper, no relation, and calling and telling the police that an African American man had threatened her life and threatened the life of her dog. The video on May 25th of the incident had been sent to millions on the internet, and within hours of it being posted, however, it sparked worldwide outrage, and many called for Amy Cooper to be held accountable for her action. Amy Cooper first filed a complaint against Franklin Templeton back in May of 2021. Exactly a year after the incident took place, the company branded her claim as baseless and said that it would defend itself. The Manhattan prosecutors charged Amy Cooper in July of 2020 with filing a false police report, which is a misdemeanor. But the charges were dropped months later after she completed therapy. So apparently you can be a Karen and go to therapy and get off. That's why that Karen Act needs to be nationwide. And once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.